Welcome back to the deep dive. This time, you guys sent in these incredible notes about the history of money,
Yeah.
and it's all happening in one town. It's
Wow.
like someone took Econ 101 and turned it into a story. We're talking about seashells.
Okay.
We're talking about gold. We're even
Interesting.
getting into paper money. And of course, we're going to be digging into all the ways it can go wrong.
Of course. It's a
And
pretty clever way to show how hard it's been for people to create a money system that actually works, you know, stable and all that.
yeah, yeah,
You think it'd be simple, but if you look back through history, it's not exactly paved with gold, is it?
yeah, more like a road paved with
Yeah,
broken promises and economic disasters, right?
totally.
Okay, so picture this. First scene, we got this town,
Okay.
10,000 people just trying to, make a living.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your fishermen, farmers, lumberjacks, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But they're stuck in this barter system.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Can you even imagine having to constantly find someone who wants what you have,
Right.
but also has the thing you need?
A nightmare.
It'd be impossible.
Yeah. Talk about inefficient. In your notes,
Yeah.
think about a fisherman who's trying to trade his catch
Hmm?
for, let's say, a new axe.
Okay, yeah.
The blacksmith's probably like, what am I going to do with all this fish?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what economists
Mhm.
call the double coincidence of wants problem.
Exactly. You got to have that double coincidence.
And the notes actually highlight that fishermen, they need to trade their fish right away before it goes bad.
Makes sense.
But a lumberjack can hold on to their wood for
Forever.
a long time, yeah. So
Yeah.
bartering was clearly not going to work for them,
Obviously not.
So what did they do?
Well, they went with seashells.
Seashells, really?
I know, it sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of cultures have used stuff like that as money, like commodity money.
Okay.
The important thing was that these shells... Yeah.
They were pretty durable and, most importantly, rare.
Oh, okay.
That rarity was their way of trying to make sure the shells would hold their value, make a stable system.
So, imagine one seashell gets you a loaf of bread.
Right.
Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But even with something this simple, things went south.
Oh, I bet.
It's like whenever there's money involved,
Yeah.
humans just find a way to mess it up.
It's human nature, right.
It really is.
So what happened?
Well, at first everything was fine,
Yeah.
but then the town started growing,
Oh.
and they ran into a problem. They weren't finding enough new seashells to keep up with, how much the economy was growing.
Not enough shells for everyone.
And that, my friend, is how you get deflation.
Deflation. Isn't that when prices go down?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
I mean, yeah, cheaper stuff. Who doesn't
Yeah.
want that?
Well, not so fast. See, deflation meant those seashells were actually becoming more valuable as time went on.
Huh. And your notes actually talk about this.
Yeah.
People started hoarding the shells,
Ugh.
thinking, hey, if I wait, these will be worth even more tomorrow. So less and less money was actually being used.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying more valuable money means less economic activity?
Exactly. It's counterintuitive, but that's how it works.
Wow, that's kind of blowing my mind right now.
It's a bit of an aha moment, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So people were holding on to their shells instead of spending them.
Oh, so the economy slowed down.
Exactly. Wages stalled because employers couldn't keep up with the rising value of those seashells.
Wow.
The whole system just got too rigid and choked their growth.
So what'd they do? They had to find something new, right?
They did. Something
Yeah.
more flexible.
Oh, I know it's coming.
They turned to the classic symbol of wealth and prosperity.
Gold.
Gold. Durable, divisible, you can make coins. And importantly, it's not like you just trip over it in the street.
Right.
It seemed like the perfect solution.
Yeah, it checked all the boxes.
And initially, it worked. Gold made trading easier, and the economy started booming.
The town was actually doing well under the gold standard.
They thought they'd finally figured it out.
Until, of course, they didn't.
Well, yeah,
There's always a but.
right.
Enter the human factor.
Always messing things up.
The notes mention something about a war,
Ah, yes, the war.
which never ends well for anyone, especially the economy.
Right, never good. So what happened with the gold?
Okay, so their leaders, trying to pay for this war,
Oh, boy.
they came up with this quote-unquote brilliant plan.
Oh, this can't be good.
They decided to start mixing copper into the gold coins.
Debasing the currency.
Exactly. They thought, who's going to notice a little bit of copper?
Yeah, sneaky.
But it turned out to be a huge mistake.
Yeah, people probably figured it out pretty quick.
Oh, they did. And once they realized their gold wasn't so golden anymore?
Yeah, it'd be like shattering everyone's trust.
Exactly. It's like the
Yeah.
story of the emperor's new clothes, but with money. Oh, that's a great analogy.
And the notes also talk about this thing called the Cantillon effect.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Basically, it means that the people who get their hands on the new debased money first,
Hmm.
like the government, the banks,
Yeah, the ones who are in on it,
right, they benefit the most.
because they get to spend it before everyone else figures it out.
Exactly. They get to spend it before the prices go up and the devaluation hits everyone else.
Classic case of the rich getting richer.
It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, it just keeps happening.
Unfortunately.
But wait, their money adventures don't end with gold, do they?
Nope, not at all. After like centuries of messing around with gold, running out of it, debasing it, fighting over it,
Yeah.
they decided to do something totally different. They went for a fiat system.
Paper money, just like we use today.
Yeah, exactly. So no more shiny metals,
Mm-hmm.
just a piece of paper
Right.
that the government says is worth something.
Wow, talk about a leap of faith.
It was definitely a gamble.
Yeah.
Fiat money is basically a promise.
Right. A representation of what the economy is going to do in the future.
Huh.
And it's all backed by this belief that the government will keep its word,
Yeah.
make sure it actually has value.
Interesting.
At first, everyone was like, this is the answer. It's going to fix all the problems we had with gold.
Mhm.
It was supposed to be more flexible and help the economy grow faster.
This kind of reminds me of how some people talk about Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah?
Like they call it digital gold.
I've heard that.
It's wild how this idea of scarcity and trust
Right.
just keeps popping up in different ways
It's definitely a pattern.
throughout history.
Yeah, for sure.
But what's even more interesting is how this change from like a physical thing like gold to this more like abstract system
Right.
affected how people acted, Your notes mention a change in time preference.
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating.
What's that all about?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
With gold, you could hold it in your hand, feel how heavy it was.
Yeah.
It made you want to save it,
Mhm.
hoard those precious coins.
But with paper money,
Yeah.
it became more tempting to just spend it, borrow more.
Like live in the moment.
Yeah, almost like they built inflation right into the system.
So you're saying that with gold, people were more likely to save,
Yeah,
but with fiat money, they were more likely to spend and borrow.
exactly.
That's crazy. And it's so relevant to us today.
Totally.
We live in a world of fiat currencies,
Yeah.
low interest rates,
Yeah.
easy credit.
It makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, like how much does the system we live in
Right.
shape our own time preferences?
This is a big
It
question.
really is.
Understanding fiat money, how it can cause inflation, how that affects what we choose to do.
Yeah,
It's so important.
especially now.
Definitely.
So going back to our little town,
Yeah,
they were loving their new fiat system.
of course.
Your notes mentioned that economists were praising it,
Oh, yeah.
talking about how flexible it was and how it could handle economic ups and downs.
It was the hot new thing.
But it couldn't last forever, could it?
Well, no system is perfect.
Right. And once you give people the power to create money whenever they want,
Uh-oh.
it's hard to resist.
That's too much of a good thing.
Yeah, and history's full of examples of governments just going overboard,
Oh, I know.
printing way too much money.
And that's exactly what happened in our town, right?
Sadly, yes.
The government dealing with economic problems and political pressure.
Yeah, it's a familiar story.
They did what so many others have done.
They turned on the printing presses?
They just printed more money.
It's the classic fiat currency trap.
So, wait, explain this to me.
Okay, so when the amount of money grows faster than the economy,
Okay.
that's when you get inflation.
So each dollar, or whatever their currency was, is worth less.
Yeah, it buys you less and less stuff.
It's like they're slowly losing their purchasing power.
Exactly.
It's almost sneaky how it starts.
Yeah, at first it's barely noticeable,
Right.
but then governments get hooked on this easy fix.
Yeah, free money.
Discipline goes out the window.
And things spiral out of control. It happens all the time.
And like we saw with the messed up gold coins,
Yeah.
inflation doesn't affect everyone the same way.
Exactly.
That Cantillon effect, remember?
Yeah.
The people closest to the money source,
Yeah, the first one's in line.
they benefit the most.
Again,
Yeah.
the banks, big corporations, the government itself.
They get a head start,
Yeah.
while everyone else is just trying to keep up.
Struggling to make ends meet.
It's like history repeating itself.
Yeah, but with paper instead of metal.
Pretty depressing, but not surprising.
Unfortunately, that's how it often goes.
So what happened next?
Well, the notes describe how the government,
Yeah.
caught in this cycle of spending and printing money,
Uh-oh.
They pushed the town towards hyperinflation.
Hyperinflation, wait, that's like prices going crazy, right?
Way crazy.
Like you need a wheelbarrow full of cash just to buy a loaf of bread.
That's the one.
Mm.
It sounds unbelievable,
Yeah.
but it's happened to tons of economies throughout history.
Wow.
It's a scary reminder of what happens when you print too much money and how fragile trust in a currency really is.
So it sounds like this town's journey through the history of money
Yeah.
is less like a fun adventure and more like a warning sign.
Yeah, definitely a cautionary tale.
They started with seashells, then gold, then paper.
Each system had its moment.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good idea at first.
But then it all went wrong.
It's like there was a flaw built in from the start.
A flaw that's tied to human nature.
It's like we can't help but mess things up.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak when you think about it.
But there are lessons to be learned.
I mean, it's like this whole story is a mini version of all the different money systems throughout history.
Yeah, you can see the patterns.
Right.
Yeah.
But it still feels so different from today, you know? Like they have their seashells and gold coins,
Right.
but we've got digital transactions, credit cards, crypto.
Yeah, things have definitely changed.
It feels like we're way past those old systems.
Technology's changed how money moves, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But the basic ideas, the things we've been talking about, stability, trust, being able to adapt,
Right.
those never go out of style.
They're timeless.
Totally. The challenges our town faced,
Yeah.
they're still happening today.
Just on a bigger scale.
Exactly. It's just more complex now.
And you know, it's funny.
What's that?
The notes mentioned this other town that got hit with hyperinflation.
Oh, right.
And people were literally using wheelbarrows
Yeah.
to carry cash just to buy groceries.
I know, it's wild.
It's like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
But it makes those historical examples feel,
Real.
yeah, like it could actually happen.
It definitely brings it home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And it's a good reminder,
Mhm.
especially now.
Yeah,
Governments can create so much money
just out of thin air.
digitally.
And it's so easy to do.
Exactly. So it's more important than ever
Yeah.
to understand the consequences.
Printing too much money,
Yeah, how inflation can really hurt people.
like slowly but surely.
It eats away at your savings. And we need to be able to trust the people who are in charge of the economy.
But they need to be transparent.
Absolutely. Accountability is key.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the history of money,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway?
I think the town's story shows us one really important thing. Money, no matter what form it takes, it all comes down to trust.
Yeah.
Trusting that it's valuable, trusting the people who create it and manage it,
Right.
and trusting that the economy is actually doing okay.
So if we lose that trust,
Yeah.
the whole thing can fall apart.
Isn't the most complicated systems.
Just like we saw with the town.
Yeah, over and over again.
It's like this never-ending cycle.
Innovation, getting cocky, and then paying the price.
Yeah, it's a pretty clear pattern.
Definitely.
But I think there's another big takeaway, too.
Oh, what's that?
Understanding the history of money,
Yeah.
like all the different things people have tried, what worked and what didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It can help us make better decisions
In our own life.
with our own money.
Totally. It's like having a map, right?
A map of all the financial potholes.
Yeah. So we can try to avoid them.
Exactly.
And I think this deep dive should make us think about money in a different way.
Okay.
What is it really? What makes it valuable?
Yeah.
How does it shape our lives, our choices, even our societies?
Those are some big questions.
They are, but they're worth asking.
Especially now with everything changing so fast.
Yeah, the financial world's always evolving.
So as we close out today's episode,
Okay.
we'll leave you with this. What can we learn from this town?
Right.
What can their journey through seashells, gold, and paper money teach us? How can we use those lessons to understand the global economy
Yeah.
and make better decisions about our own money?
Big questions, but I think exploring them is important.
Absolutely.
It's all about learning and growing.
Exactly. So thank you all for joining us on this deep dive